Oh, hey guys, I've been a bit of a recluse for a couple of days. I've been working on some scripts for one of the programs that I'm making. But I just wanted to quickly talk about mining stocks and precious metals. And, you know, the unfortunate thing is, from a real, tangible, look at it in a real way sort of perspective, you're never going to find gold or silver or mining stocks reach the levels that I'm fairly certain they soon will. The reason that those precious metal commodities are going to go higher is because there's so much debt owned by the people of different countries around the world. And even though the Chinese are going to become part of the SDR, special drawing rights, I think within a week or 2 weeks or something, it doesn't make the dollar irrelevant. Just like I talked in one of my other videos, like, everybody's like, oh, the death of the petrodollar, or the death of the, it's nonsense. It's all based on what, the faith of people, the strength of people, what they're able to produce, the resources that they have, the lack of corruption in their system. That's where people want to park money. That's what makes fiat currency valuable. When they say that, if you buy treasuries of a specific government, essentially, then that's the debt. But the debt is only worth what the strength of the people are able to repay it. And that's either in economic resources or invention or, strength of law, type of stuff. Okay, so in a weird, mixed up, upside down world, we already know the stock market is overinflated. We already know that the housing market is 60% above what it should be. We already know the Federal Reserve has printed round after round after round of QE. And look at Japan. I mean, Japan's been doing this for the longest time, and they can still manage to kick it down the road. Why? Because, even though the mathematics, if you really sit down and work it out mathematically, you are sitting in a black hole so deep it doesn't mean anything. But it's all in what people are willing to believe. So let's say in this continued bizarro world, gold goes to $60,000 an ounce or higher, mining stocks go up, silver goes up, precious metals. Why does all that go up? Because people think it's worth something, okay? Now, I want you to take just a moment and think about what gold means to you. What can you do with it? Say you're the only person in the world that wants it. Why do you want it? Okay? Now, how long are you willing to work for an ounce of gold? Are you willing to work for a day? Are you willing to work for a week, a month, a year? Would you sell your house? Would you sell your cars for an ounce of gold that you hold in your hand? Easily measurable. Easily held. And what are you going to do with it? Make a little small statue? Make a couple of rings out of it? And once you do, what, other than the perceived value of what that metal is, the gold is it worth more? No, it's not. Okay, so you guys, I talk about three types of value: intrinsic, subjective, and utility. Intrinsic is just what the material costs. It's what it's worth. Cost and worth are two different things to me too. I can elaborate on that a little bit further. So, an intrinsic value of a, um, let's say, a jug of water. Okay, you got purified water there. Now, the intrinsic value of that is whatever it was to purify the water, make the plastic jug, cap it, ship it, whatever. That's the intrinsic value. Now, the subjective value to that is how much is it worth to somebody that's in an area that they can drink clean water all the time, that's living next to a lake. You drink clean water all the time. And how much is that same gallon of water worth in the desert? Okay, that's subjective value. And now the utility value is specifically what that water is able to do. So, okay, like, you're in an area that's resource rich with, purified water. Utility value is not very much, but say you need to irrigate crops, and the yields that you gain from the crops or the water that you're able to mobilize your soldiers with gives that 1 gallon of water so much more utility value. So anytime that you want to understand what something is worth, then look at those three things. And if you want to understand what something costs, then I encourage you to continue to stick your head up your ass and play the stupid game that everybody's playing that's completely divorced from reality, that has been and will continue to be the just this grand illusion that will inhibit social human progress. Because I reiterate again, what we need currency for is specifically to assign value to things, to labor, to work, to somebody picking up trash, somebody cutting grass, to somebody painting a house, to somebody putting in labor. Not algorithmic trading, not, okay, I'm, a baby boomer and I have all this money in mutual funds and the stock market, which I know is overinflated. I know property values are inflated. Where do I put my safe money? I guess I have to buy a fucking garage full of gold, and somehow that's going to be worth so much more, and that's going to save you? Okay, ludicrous. With your wealth, I tell you what you should have been doing. It should have been putting back in your community. Definitely. Oh, of course, people suck for the most part. Sometimes they don't, sometimes they do. But I tell you, when you need to attach yourself to reality, and you're essentially going to bind yourself to a group of morons if you continue to think that way. And there are going to be people that are stronger, that have a different paradigm, a different way of thinking, an awakening, if you will, as to what worth and commerce and trade is. And hey, believe me, you're a baby boomer, okay? That's why I don't buy guns. I know there's a glut of weaponry everywhere. Okay, what the fuck do I need a gun for, essentially? To hunt with, or what am I going to do? Kill, rob my neighbors? No, it's not going to last. They're going to shoot back at me. Seeds are worth more than that. Clean water. Get yourself a life straw. Be smart. I bet there are tons and tons and tons of people out there, AK, whatever, AR-15s, AK-47s, that, stocked up to the rim with them, and they don't have a lick of canned food in their pantry. And what do they think they're going to do? Go prey on their neighbor? Well, I guarantee you their neighbor might have a surprise for them. They might come in the middle of the night and stab them in the neck and take the gun. Once you begin to understand what reality is like and what nature is like, life is cheap. It can be taken from you by many means. And your gun is not going to save you, although I encourage everybody to exercise their Second Amendment right and own one. because our forefathers intended us to be able to resist tyranny. And tyranny shows up in history over and over and over and over and over again until either there's genocide or there's war or there is mass migration. Happens in history over and over again. And people that do not know history are doomed to repeat it. We have tools today. We have a paradigm shift in thinking. And I can help you. I would love to even create new markets that trade on fundamentals, trade on what things are worth based on what they are and who they're selling to. And our system hasn't been like that for a long time. And but that's a reason to be optimistic. It's a reason to be optimistic. All right, my friends, that's another precious metal rant. Hey, and let me say another thing. I'm a dick, okay? I realize that there are a lot of idiots in the world. And sometimes it's like, you want to drive fast, but a police officer's always sitting on that specific road, or maybe, you're taught a history lesson that, it's complete bunk. Sometimes you have to play by the rules. Sometimes the rules are bent. Sometimes the rules are broken. A lot of times in our world right now, rules are designed to benefit the people that can simply game them. And